are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining the Open Reality webinar. My name is Duncan Little. I'm from Open Reality, and I'm joined this morning by Craig Hinchcliffe from Citrix, who has the enviable job title of Technology Evangelist. Morning, Craig.
Good morning.
We're sitting today in the Moonraker room in Citrix's Chelfront office. So if you notice that there's some acoustics, it's because we are indeed sitting in a big echoey room. I sincerely hope you're able to hear us okay. Without further ado, I'm just going to go into the agenda and explain what we're going to go through today. First of all, I'm going to do a small introduction to Open Reality, just a little bit of background for you. And then we're going to have a bit of time to look at the drivers behind what we're going to be talking about today and demonstrating Citrix's Workspace Suite. The work environment is changing. We all recognize that. People want to be more mobile. And we'll be looking at how Citrix's Workspace Suite can provide your business with the flexibility you need to meet this emerging change. And then what we're going to do is something slightly different. We're going to prove that Citrix's Workspace Suite does provide the perfect working environment. We're going to do that with a demonstration. For all of you that are brave enough to make it through to the end of our webinar this morning, we have a number of Citrix's new X1 mice on order. They've not been delivered to us yet, but as soon as we get them, you will all receive one as a thank you for attending the webinar today. So, a little introduction to Open Reality. I beg your pardon, before I start, what I should say is all microphones are muted, so we can't hear you. But if you would like to raise your hand and ask a question at any time, please feel free to using the chat client. So why work with Open Reality? Well, we've partnered with Citrix for nearly 20 years, and we've retained that knowledge in our business. We not only work with Citrix, but we also support that with a range of different mobility and application performance improving tools, RAN optimization, monitoring, diagnostics, etc. We have a methodology when we engage with Citrix projects, and that methodology is focused on delivering a quality and successful project. So we don't try and take on too many of these projects, and we do try to make sure that we always have enough resource available to complete them, including, of course, the inevitable snags that we have to deal with. So when we take on a project, we make sure it is successful and we see it through to successful completion. A little note on our support service. I'm particularly proud of the fact that we have very successful 15-minute response to priority ones calls, and that everything in our managed services is run based on ITIL, and is audited against 9001, and we shortly will be audited against 27001 as well. And I think it's worthwhile mentioning on this webinar that we deliver a range of managed services as well to the NHS directly connected to their network. So a number of different Citrix delivered services and other WAN optimization and monitoring services. I've put here Citrix as a service, and what I really mean by that is the fact that for about 10 years now, we've been delivering cloud-based hosted applications from our data center, all delivered to a variety of businesses and all fronted by a Citrix desktop. So Citrix desktop as a service, but with hosted applications behind that. And we broker those out into other cloud-based services, such as Office 365. Everything is controlled and secured via NetScaler. So in terms of Open Reality and our business, Citrix is an integral and very, very important part, not only to what we provide to our customers, but also to the services we provide from within our data centers. Recently just started providing Zen Mobile as a service. So the Workspace Challenge. It's getting more mobile out there. It's a familiar story, and people are using tablets, smartphones, laptops, everything really, to be able to work from anywhere and from any device. The idea that work was once a 9-to-5 job is fine, but it isn't anymore. And actually, the big news about this is we enjoy it that way. It's showing productivity improvements, People are happier to be able to work from where they need to work, when they need to work, and actually sharing their work on any device that they want to. And that's becoming much more important. It's giving business benefits in terms of reducing costs, but also improving services and driving productivity. Work is most definitely no longer a time or a place. You know, organisations are reducing costs by reducing the number of desks they have in their facility, making workers much more mobile, and the work is unique to the person now. It's not where you work, it's becoming what you do. And in order to facilitate that change, mobility is most definitely the key. So being able to work where you are, from what you've got with you, at the time that you need to, at the time that you want to. This is what we're starting to call your workspace nirvana. Work happens from many locations, and as we can see from these statistics, you know, information workers, 61% are now working outside of their office. And most of us have got 3 or more devices that we want to work from, or indeed that we do work from. And this is really driving the Citrix messaging. The word anything, Craig, seems to be prevalent now in all Citrix marketing.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's not a real word, but it is a Citrix word. Yeah, and it's like you said, Duncan, at Citrix we try and put everything around the user, or the people. You think about, I mean, I don't actually have a watch. I use my phone as my watch, as my alarm clock. It enables me to listen to music. I control the music in my house. I use it to park my car. I'm using it for my tickets when I just came back from Synergy last week. That's my boarding pass. It also has my points on it for getting into the lounges and all those kind of things. So it really is becoming a device that I use so much in a personal world, and being able to allow me to use that for my business world as well just becomes a very compelling way of working and enabling me to really use any device. I'm an Apple guy, but it's not specific about Apple. It's enabling any device, whether that's a iOS, Android, Windows device, whatever that device you want to use is, that's what we enable.
And this is what people want, isn't it? You want to be able to work from what you've got with you.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So why should somebody dictate to you that you must use device X or Y, or you must be in location, you know, whatever it is? It's like you say, if you can encourage people to work from home, think about the business benefits that gives to the users and to the business. I mean, as long as it's done in a secure fashion, think about, I mean, I'm an hour and a half away from this office. If I had to come here every day, an hour and a half each way, that's 3 hours that I'm losing. I can just, you know, I wake up 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm replying to emails, I'm working from 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. It's like you said, it's no longer, the job is no longer a 9 to 5. It's, you're breaking that work period down, and you might, you know, start working at 7, but then actually go and have some breakfast with somebody and actually break up that day. I'm not saying that everyone's going to work that way, but you have the ability to break that day up.
You have the flexibility to be able to do that. So what does Workspace Suite do? So
Workspace Suite really enables us to deliver any service to any device. Okay, it encompasses the delivery of Windows applications, Windows desktops, mobile applications, and data securely through our cloud networking technology.
Right. Okay. So what we're talking about then is this concept. The concept of Nirvana device is something that came out of Citrix's marketing, I think, and we've used that in this PowerPoint, really because you can use the device you have with you where you are at the time you need to use it. And the thing that enables us to do that is Workspace Suite, and part of Workspace Suite is Citrix Receive.
Absolutely. Yeah. Citrix Receive has been around for a long time. It's had various names, as Citrix traditionally like to rename stuff for the fun of it. It's really about enabling any device. The receiver runs on any device that you can possibly think of, even the likes of BlackBerry and Raspberry Pi. So no matter what device you choose to use, you can enable the delivery of Windows apps and desktops, mobile apps, data, directly from your mobile device.
Right, brilliant. But what about Citrix Workspace Suite?
Well, Workspace Suite is actually kind of our whole offering from Citrix. Okay, the 4 elements of it are, as you can see on the screen, are desktop virtualization, so that's Windows apps and desktops. Actually, if you saw Synergy, we actually just announced the ability to deliver Linux applications and desktops as well, which is tech preview currently still, but it's extending that portfolio of applications because our customers want the ability to be able to do that. So that's kind of what you guys really know Citrix for. It's pretty much what everyone knows Citrix for. The lesser known areas of Citrix are probably our enterprise mobility management piece. which is what people would probably refer to as MDM or MAM, the kind of the new buzzwords or acronyms of the current century or current time, and also data sync and sharing, which is actually very relevant to the enterprise mobility piece. How do I ensure that I can consume that data, whether that data is in the cloud or on-premise, or in fact, how do I start on-premise and then migrate into the cloud? Because different people have different views on where that data should sit, and are restricted by different challenges. You mentioned about the networks you sit in now, the NHS net. Those kind of customers probably wouldn't want to put data in the cloud. Okay? So having a technology that can offer you to have the data sat in either on-premise or in the cloud is a very compelling story for all of our customers, not specific ones. And this is really kind of all glued together by something I like to call as the oxygen of Citrix. Obviously, everyone knows oxygen is very transparent, you can't see it, but we all know we need it, and that's essentially what you need with cloud networking, because without that, you're unable to deliver these services securely, seamlessly, and in a very efficient way to the users.
Brilliant. So that's what we're going to be demonstrating shortly, the Workspace Suite. I think just before we do, though, what would be interesting would be to ask our attendees, how many of you actually use Citrix at the moment? So if we're just going to pop up a quick poll, ask you a question. Just a quick one there, it'll take about 10 seconds if you wouldn't mind just letting us know. Are you using Citrix, and if so, are you using it strategically or just in a work group environment?
Yeah, that's close.
That's great. Thank you very much indeed for answering that. We'll be sharing the answers with you later. So let's take a look at what makes up Workspace Suite.
Sure, absolutely. So, and this is going to probably resonate a lot with the customers that we have on the call. As you look at Citrix in its traditional manner, it's any device, whether they're internal or external to the business, going through the NetScaler, so our secure network delivery controller, and then consuming those Windows apps and desktops. I mean, Gartner states still today that 85% of Windows applications, line of business applications, are still, the main majority of applications delivered inside the business. So that's really still our main focus within Citrix, and long will that continue. But if you do look at people that look and say, okay, we're looking at how do we mobilize, how do we become more mobile friendly, how do we encourage BYOD, where people can bring in their own devices and deliver secure mail, secure web, and all those kind of applications that they want natively on those devices and work in an offline manner, then you can start to introduce other components of the Citrix Workspace Suite. And those other components are Zen Mobile and ShareFile. The nice thing about this, and I've always referred to this as Lego, you pretty much build it in the way that's relevant for the business. So start off with Zen Desktop, and as the business grows and becomes more strategic with Citrix, you just dump in the components behind the NetScaler and scale it out based on the user demand. Okay? That's really enabling you to gain access to Windows apps, Windows desktops, Linux desktops, SaaS-based apps, mobile-based apps, and data, whether it's on-premise or in the cloud.
So what you're saying here is that you're using your mobile device, and in this case we'll be demonstrating on an iPhone, but you're actually using this regularly to do a large amount of the work you need to do.
Absolutely. This whole demo will be shown from one device, and I will consume all of those services from one device.
Right.
Okay, in a exceptionally usable fashion.
Not just desktop, applications.
Absolutely, all of these. To us, to be honest, desktop to me is a platform that enables you to gain access to the services you need. Sometimes people need a desktop because of specific things, maybe it's graphical, but a majority of people, and I'm sure this resonates well again with the people on the line, then it's actually the applications that are the most important thing. It's not the actual desktop.
Right, okay. So let's take a look at what we're going to demo then. So we're going to use an iPhone, or rather you're going to do this.
I am.
So you're using the iPhone, and the point about this is the iPhone is a small device, it's something that is ubiquitous, everybody's got a phone in their pocket, so we're only using this as an example. Everything that you do on this phone, you can do on anything at any time.
Absolutely right, yeah. Like I say, this is just purely my preference, my choice, and the device I was given from work.
Right, okay. So we're going to look at the applications that we've just been talking about, secure, corporate managed applications, email, web, notes, ShareFile, and then we're going to take a look at Citrix Receiver on the iPhone. And what we're going to try to do, just for a bit of fun, is that when we get into this demo, towards the end, just to show you that it really is an iPhone that Craig is demoing, we're going to turn the camera on so that you can see what we're actually doing. But we're not going to do that until we get to the end, I think. So, without further ado.
Okay, let's get this going. So I'm just going to get the
While we do this, perhaps we could just get another poll done. We've got a question about mobility. So we just fly that up for a second while Craig's getting ready. Thank you very much.
Excellent. So, as I said, this is my personal mobile device, and where I'm going to start off is actually with the native applications. As you can see, this is everything on my phone. You can see even got my games running on this. Just check everybody can see the screen okay. So, what I'm going to focus on here really is my core business applications. As I said, if you look at how I work, I've got my text messages and WhatsApp and all those kind of things inside here. But actually, I've got my business applications in here as well. So from this device, I have the ability to consume all types of services. Okay. So I'm going to start off with Mail. Now, this shouldn't be anything groundbreaking to anyone. This is a mail client running on a mobile device. The difference is that we've got the technology on here that secures it, so it's containerizing the application, making it secure by design. Okay, so if this device was lost, we could wipe the data. Now, my device is actually enrolled as a BYOD device, so I don't own the whole device. I just own the partial bits, the business part of it. Okay. So I don't have that risk of scaring people that I can see what's on their device. I can control the whole device.
Right. So in real world terms, then, if someone were to come to work with their own phone, you would be able to enroll this phone, give them work email securely.
Absolutely right.
Okay.
And they can also run that personal email on here as well. So as you probably saw in a scary way, I've got my own email on there with
17,000 emails. Well,
yeah, it's personal email.
It's a very popular man.
So kind of going back in here, so Mail is a fairly straightforward thing to use. With Citrix, we always focused on the user experience. How do we make this a more optimal user experience? Think about what are the things that stop you from being able to use your Mail client to say, actually, I need to go back to Outlook to do some of these things. I'm going to give you a quick couple of examples on here. So, for example, if I go to create a new application, a new email, and I just send this to Adam, and I want to send an attachment. Okay, now you actually can't do that. You can send photos, but you can't actually send files directly from your Mail client. Okay. So what do? We can integrate directly with ShareFile. So as I mentioned earlier on, this is integrating directly with our connectors. This is using cloud-based data right in this example. And as you can see here, I've just got a couple of documents. Now, before I send a document, I want to make sure I'm sending the right document. So I can actually view that document directly within inside here. And you can see in here, there's the standard NDA agreement from Citrix. So I can just click on that tick, click on attach, and I'm now done. Okay. So that's enabling me to get more usability out of this application. Okay. The file isn't actually physically attached. As you can see, it's a hyperlink. So when I send this to Adam, he'll just click on the link. He'll get challenged for credentials. And we actually do auditing about when people have downloaded the files. And so we know when people have done it. So it's kind of a more advanced read notification. Right.
So you're using your mobile client there to send securely some corporate information, which is, again, secure.
Absolutely. And I can also do things like mark it as high priority because it's important and I want that to be seen. So again, things I would expect to be able to do on Outlook, I'm able to be able to do directly from this Mail client. Okay. Now that's just one example of this. Another example I'm just going to put on here about experience is about, you think about how you delete your emails. You just saw it, obviously I have quite a few emails with inside Gmail there. Now think about how I'm going to get rid of all of those after I've read them. Do I file them? Do I just delete them? Are they junk? Now, in the past, you swipe to the right, or you select, delete, select and move. And it's a very kind of, I wouldn't say it's the most fluid way of dealing with that. Now we have something called triaging, which essentially means I can decide how to deal with these emails. So as you can notice down the bottom, I'll just move this up actually, you'll notice that there's delete. Now if I swipe down, I'll delete the email. If I swipe it up, it will move it to a folder called follow-up. Okay? And that enables me to kind of clear my mailbox down, and I'm kind of done. Okay? So it's a much more advanced and simpler way of doing that. So I can just, like I say, quite simply swipe that down, and it's now deleted. The user gets to choose this. This is a user-defined thing. So if I swipe down what I want to do, I can say move it to a folder, mark as read, whatever that is. Okay, so again, it's putting kind of a more enhanced experience within inside the user's hands.
It's making it more usable, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. If I just pop out the calendar, you can also see that actually I've got access directly to the calendar within inside here. And there's a couple of things in here. So we've got this open reality invite from a couple of weeks ago. And if I click on that, you can see actually there's some stuff already going on here. So I can actually join the meeting directly from the phone. So that will launch GoToMeeting. I can dial in, and you can see it gives me a whole list of numbers. If I click on the number, not only does it dial the number, but it puts in the access code that sits within inside the meeting. You know, so you no longer have to remember what those codes are. It's a bit of a task to put all those in.
So it's making it easy, isn't it?
Absolutely,
very integrated.
Absolutely right. So we like to call it a fast join. There's a little thing in here for your sales guys, you know, when they're running late, just very quickly kind of put that in. Again, so kind of optimizing that experience. Now, how that's all done is, what about if I want to create a brand new meeting? So I can just go in here, and as we did with ShareFile, we can integrate directly with GoToMeeting. So I can talk to GoToMeeting. This will pull out all the meetings that I have that exist within inside my online GoToMeeting session, and I can pick a new one, or I can pick an existing one, or I can actually create a new one. Okay. And let's just leave it as that. Okay.
Okay. So I see now that it's not just about getting the desktop on your phone, is it? It's about having local apps that are tuned to make them more usable.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you now really kind of show, and actually I'm making this more usable. It's more productive. So could I actually say maybe I can just use this device for anything? Do I need full-blown Outlook all the time? I'm not saying you're going to create a whole email, you know, a very lengthy email on here because you want to be able to spell check and, you know, go through it and kind of maybe look at it, make it look a bit pretty, which is kind of hard to do on a mobile device. But certainly you're able to get more out of the device when using things like Workspace. Okay. Now the other thing you want to think about is the transitions and how do I get from one app to another? Now, interestingly, I've managed to delete the email that I wanted to get to. Let's see if I can get that back. Sorry. I don't. Let me just send myself a quick email. To Craig, sorry, this is my fault. Just going to create a quick email here with an email link in it. Okay. Now you can see inside here, I've got a link to a URL. Okay, now if I click on that link, that'll take me straight to I've put the wrong URL in there, but it'll take me to the SharePoint site. Okay. Now you'll notice that, actually if I just zoom in a little bit, you'll notice that it signed me straight into SharePoint without prompting me for any credentials.
Right, so what you've done there is you've opened a secure browser and you've gone, what, via a VPN?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're using our micro VPN technology, so this again is leveraging our cloud networking, Netscaler technology to enable Worksweb to go internally into our business and talk to internal web servers.
Right, so immediately the user's got access to internal information and intranet web-delivered applications securely, but remotely.
Absolutely right.
Right.
And even, you know, if I wanted to, I could take them straight to the internet as well.
Okay.
So this browser doesn't just do internal traffic, but it does external traffic. And think about, I mean, you guys use proxy servers to block traffic. So, you know, if I'm inside the business using Internet Explorer and I go to maybe Facebook that I shouldn't be going on because it's social collaboration, shouldn't be using it in work time, you'd probably block that as a non-business application inside the business. How do I extend that to mobile? Well, actually, with our technology, we can enable that. Okay, so I can use exactly the same proxy server that I use internally externally as well to these mobile devices.
Right, that's really good, because not only are we blocking sites that we don't want people to go to, but we're also blocking dangerous sites and filtering all web traffic. So that's really useful.
Absolutely. And also, the point here we're showing you is I'm showing you multiple apps, and I'm transitioning from them in a very seamless way. Okay. I'm going to go back to Mail again here. And what I've got inside here is just some other content inside here. So there's just some standard email stuff in here. Some plans I was going to do on here. Now you can see as I've created and selected that content, I can say create a new note. Now I'm going to use one of our other mobile apps, Works Notes, and if I can put a subject in here. Okay, now this is using my Exchange notes. So as I save this, okay, I'm going to stay in Works Notes. That's now synchronized into my Exchange folder. So later on when I show you Outlook in Windows, you'll see that all that content is actually there.
Right.
Okay. Again, all I did was select that text, see a create note. It took me straight to Works Notes and enabled me to do that. I didn't have to go to Works Notes to do that. I didn't have to copy and paste the content. Because they're aware of each other as applications, and then we have the interactions, we can make this a very seamless and fluid workflow. Right,
okay, so Craig, this is really interesting. I can see now that you can get many different things done securely while you're on your mobile phone and you're out of the office. But this isn't giving me a mobile phone as a device. It's the only device I need. I can't do 4 hours of work on here non-stop. I couldn't do a PowerPoint on there, for example.
No, absolutely right. And I mean, just to kind of show you one more thing on here is, so we could, so that same NDA agreement, maybe you wouldn't edit it on this in this way, but you know, I certainly could use our share file application to come in here and just make some changes to this. Okay, so I'm just going to put this is a document that actually sits on premise. It's on the P drive, as people refer to it in the Windows world, under legal, non-disclosure agreement, and there's the document here. So I'm going to save this, okay, and we'll come back to this later on. You're quite right, I probably wouldn't edit lots of stuff on here, but I certainly could start to consume and modify documents directly from this. Okay, so I do agree with you, but we have a way of doing that well. I mean, even to the point where I could probably create very heavily animated PowerPoints directly from my phone.
Okay, well, I'd like to see that for sure.
Okay. So I've kind of shown you the native mobile apps. Now, what if I could actually run Windows on this phone and use it in a very usable fashion and present it in a larger screen?
So, yeah, if you could do that, then actually that would be the only device that I would need.
Absolutely. So what I have here is, I'm going to just show the first part of the demo due to lighting challenges in the room. On the GoToMeeting. And what I'm just going to do is I have a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse that you'll see shortly. The mouse is, of course, our special Citrix X1 mouse. And as you'll notice, I now have this X1 mouse that, as you can see, it can't go outside of that session because it's running inside the receiver. Okay? I should have Bluetooth keyboard access. There we go. And what I'm going to do is launch my desktop. Now, my desktop is a Windows desktop. Just going to log on here. Okay, and this is going to connect. Now, what's going to happen is this is now going to blow up into a full-blown, it's going to output it in a full display of this. So it's going to change to an iPhone display, and it's going to put it in a full screen display mode for you. Okay, so this is just going to, the screen will refresh. This is just an AirPlay challenge. So in a couple of seconds, we'll now see that desktop launch, log in, and I've now got my full-blown Windows 7 desktop. Okay. If I can actually get rid of this.
Right, so what you're doing here is you've got a Windows 7 desktop, it's actually on a phone, and you're using the X1 mouse.
Absolutely, yeah. So just got to go. So this is just kicking in here. So it's just kicked in the mobile. But now, because I'm running this on my iPhone, I don't have to use the mobility pack anymore. I'm now using a mouse and keyboard straight from my iPhone, and I have access to those applications. And do you remember earlier on, I was on Works Mail.
Oh yeah.
And I created those notes.
Yes.
So if I was to come in here, and I looked in the notes with Inside Outlook, you can see there's a reality demo. Okay. And that's got exactly the notes that I had from earlier on. Okay. So the notes I initially created on my mobile phone and saved, I'm now accessing exactly the same notes inside my Windows world.
Brilliant.
Okay.
So that's completely integrated, isn't it? Your mobile applications, using them on a train or in a meeting, and now you're using it from your desktop.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do now, I think what we're going to do is perhaps move to the larger screen.
Right, okay, because this is what we wanted to show, I think, just to prove that we're actually running this on the phone. We thought we'd turn the camera on, share the camera, and please do not adjust your screen, because you will see that Craig is wearing the brightest t-shirt I've ever seen.
My mouse is causing me some challenges for whatever reason. Let me just come out of.
While we do this, actually, I think we could have another poll question. What I'm interested in is, we're very enthusiastic about mobility, and I just wonder, has anybody got any concerns about that? So, when you're considering your mobility strategy, what are the things that really concern you that you're worried about? Maybe we could deal with a few of those. So, while Craig's just sorting out the demo, we'll go for another poll.
My webinar seems to have hung. You see my camera or not? I'm just going to come out. I'm just going to come out and go to meeting. I can't come out to meeting. Yeah, no, my webinar's hung.
Ah.
So I'm just going to come out of the webinar for 2 moments.
Right. Okay. Well, what would a live demo be without a major technical hitch?
Maybe we just stick to. Yeah, I'm not sure.
No. Let's
stay inside the webinar.
Yeah, we'll stay inside the webinar. So I'm afraid we weren't able to do that for some reason. Maybe the camera was being modest on our behalf.
Let's. Do you want me to show you the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
So we'll just carry on doing this on the.
Oh, that's a great show. Never wears a t-shirt in a crowd.
No, it's not a bad thing. So what I'm going to carry on doing is just, I said to you earlier I could create PowerPoint directly from this. Right? So this is still using my X1 mouse, my iPhone, and a PowerPoint slide deck. Okay. And you can see with inside here, I go into this PowerPoint, and I can easily change the content within inside this. Okay. So it now does become a device where actually I can use Windows on my iPhone. I have to put that to a larger screen, but it certainly is enabling me to have a workspace in my pocket that's enabling native mobile apps, Windows desktops, accessing data all securely through cloud network.
Brilliant. So it's a great shame that we couldn't get the camera working, but what we are looking at here is the fact that while you're mobile, you've got mobile apps, you're able to integrate those with your work life, really, sharing documents, using secure web applications, all mobile. And then when you come to your desk, you can plug your phone in, wireless mouse, wireless keyboard, a screen, and you can actually use the phone as your only device.
Absolutely right.
And yeah, you can do PowerPoints and everything you ever wanted to do. So that's absolutely brilliant. You're going to talk us through what's...
Yeah, no, it's just kind of to reiterate that pretty much everything we've just shown you in that demonstration has pretty much shown every single Citrix technology in a very seamless way. You know, from the point of any device, in which case we use an iPhone, we've connected out over the internet, gone through NetScaler and authenticated through I've consumed mobile apps, which are WorksMail, WorksWeb, ShareFile, WorksNotes. I then evolved into Windows World and connected to a VDI session through Zen Desktop. And with inside that, all those applications that were delivered from inside that Windows Desktop were delivered by Zen app.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I think that sort of wraps it up now. So shall we go for Q&A?